All right, folks, the crossroads are lining up for America as Trump is doing this seamless steal on Venezuela and trying to take control of the $17.3 trillion in the largest proven oil reserve in the world in Venezuela, as the BRICS is going to be turning on and the petrodollar is going to be dying. And this is where Trump is saying, well, I'm going to be going after Petro in Colombia. Right? So as these things are playing out, some mirrors are reflecting. We're at this kind of round table, seeing where these cards are being dealt. We're at this middle time frame where the sun is shining in our eyes. We're seeing that things are being filmed and whatever else is playing out. But as these cards are being dealt, we got the Trojan horse in America, the border open, these things that have been put upon the earth, these cards dealt on America. And this is where they're going to be flipped over in a way. And you're going into that solitaire, and all those things. So as that single eye is coming to that card game, this is where just the 52 card pickup and the 52 card deck. The 52 is tied to your 25, your 2025, your 25 on 9/11. The 52 looking back as these things pass back, and you're at that John in the island of Patmos as John Trump is taking you there, and you're realizing, oh, that's the last Trump. Okay, so as you're in the Robin Hood, the King John, the Little John, crossover, the DNA helix, going one, going other. And then you have the Fox that's tied to the Robin Hood on the cartoon. The Fox tunnels under, and the Incredible Mr. Fox, boom, boom. So that's kind of where we're going on a grand scheme of things. And that's part of the subsurfacing, the subprime mortgages, the subs in the ocean off the coastlines, the motherships, the war drones, all those things coming over to America. Okay? And the Red Dawn invasion is before you. The Texas Hold'em game, the tri-card poker, 3-card poker, all those are stacking up. The Omaha poker game, that's Omaha Steakhouse, so-called, in the Kansas, Nebraska, those types of areas. Your Kansas City Chief, your Twin Cities, your Dallas Fort Worth is kind of a paternal twin. We got the Kansas City Twins, we got the Twin City St. Paul Twins, those kinds of things. All these things as your EMP, your Empire Strikes Back, all those things are lining up for your Star Wars. And the Starlinks is supposedly doing 4,400 or whatever low orbital things. The 44 ties into your Obama number, and that 44 is the 8, and you're in that 8th year of the woman clothed in the sun. 119 license plate right in front of me. Okay, so it's the 9/11 flip-flop. King Spirit 1/8/26, an 8/8 day. He was born on 1/8/35, a 1/8/88 day. He's going to be 91. That's an 8. The Jesus is the 8/8/8. The Jesus and the crossroads, the Jesus and the border crossroads, all those things are lining up as that Trojan horse. The Jan is the January. The January carries over depending what kind of program calendar system you're using. The Gregorian for the Ottoman Empire, for that Israel kind of thing going down there. And then you have the Day Satan and the little cub, the Cuba, and the Sunshine State and the Flow Right Over kind of thing, and that Atlantis, the Atlantic, the TikTok Ocean, as your sins are washed away for that East Coast tsunami. All these kinds of things are lining up as your Adonia, the Lord, the wrath, is all lining up. And then your Bitcoin is wrapped up into the stables. Your Jesus is born in the stables. The crypto is part of the dead man rising first. All those kinds of things. And the crypto, these kinds of things switching. The young being invested in that. The old people being invested in whatever else is part of the young ruling the old. And the flip-flop and how the inheritance has been stolen, but it's going to be given back, and all those little things. Okay, so as the Petro and the Petri dish, all these things are coming up. The patriotic, the Petri, the patriots, all those things, okay? And then what we see happening in Ukraine and Russia and those things, as we've been a little bit ahead of the time, and we're seeing these things progress and whatever at this round table, the Knights of the Round Table per se. And these card sessions, we're seeing how the past few years these things have been stacking and lining up. But this is where that Trojan horse is here, the Obama, the IPEC goat, the invasion, the Mamdani, the Quran, the Black Adam, the darkness, all these things overlapping into our America, so-called, and resetting America as the so-called Jesus is going to be given birth in anew, and the so-called Satan's going to be born anew, and the new heaven and earth. All these things are overlapping. Okay, so the Petro is tied to that Christ, the Christos, and the Antichrist being against oil, the elect, the electronic age. All those things are coming in to fruitions. But the 2020 vision in the critical race, the Iran, the UAE, the water god, the Poseidon, trident in hand, all those things are all going together, folks. All right, we got the Pirates of the Caribbean for the Johnny Depp and the Darkness Upon the Deep, and the Sheen Bomb for the Shiping and the Woman Clothed in the Sun, the Michiko, and they're setting up their own little port system and whatever. So you got Portuguese being spoken near the Brazil, the Abraham, pancake, flatter than a pancake, Kansas, Florida, the pancaca for the pancake, and the Portuguese, the geese for the duck, the Peking duck. All those things are going together, and your Ron DeSantis was shown as the Black Swan before, the Black Swan, the Black Swan. Either way, folks, we are here, and things are ramping up, and you're being taken into the time machine. And we have multiple time machines, as the hot tub's been shown, the telephone's been shown, the DeLorean's been shown, those gull wings. So one gull wing is open, the other one's open. The Marty McFly's there, the Marty, for the Elon Musk. The Biff Tannen is tied to Trump and Biden, those types of things. Either way, folks, we can just keep going and connecting all your realities. So hopefully you can understand the critical race coming in America, as the Iran, and Trump's been selling his high top shoes, the gold for the bricks, and the Oz that's coming, the Rubio, the ruby slippers, the Marco Rubio, Marco Polo, the blind man in the pool. Where are you? Where are you? Okay, so that's kind of where we're all at. And you're all being dropped off into the pool, the poo-poo, the crapture. So, crapture, rapture. And the crapture is so-called tied to your, the rapture is tied to the second coming of Christ, which is consciousness, which was being elevated up. And then your second coming of the Lord is so-called your war and your wrath and whatever else things. But then your revelation is when the 144,000, the 9/11 and such comes back and tells the people what's going on as you're given over to the delusion right now. So it's so simple. There's few that's going to find it because you're given over to the program. You are programmed. And then when you get deprogrammed,